Okay, everyone, it's with great sadness, tears in my eyes, joy in my face that we come to the last panel of the evening. So we can all say, ah, with the sadness. The good news is there's more tomorrow, okay? So you can all come back here tomorrow. However, this is the last panel of the evening, and after this you are free to leave. So this panel is going to talk about data science, if my memory serves me correct. So I used to have this here, I'm just pretty sure it is. Yes, it is. Living the era of the data revolution. So, very last time I'm going to ask you for a big round of applause just to welcome the speakers, and I'll leave you in the capable hands of Joachim. Okay, big round of applause to welcome the speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support. This is the last one. We have with us Ivan Martin. He's a CTO of a startup. Is his place. He's also director of data science bootcamps at IE University, IE Business School, and he's also professor of data science in IE University, IE Business School. So also we can be with us Elena Alfaro. She's head of data and open innovation at BBVA. So welcome. I have one first question. Many data from our customer, and what do you do with them? No? The purpose, the main purpose is not to have a data, is to use this data. No? What is the first thing, Ivan? What is bootcamp data science? What is this?
So let me explain, because the bootcamp format is something that is relatively new, something that's starting to be done now. The reason, so the way the bootcamp works is basically it's an 11-week, extremely intense program where you're supposed to be exposed to everything that is required to be able to go from just basic math knowledge or basic, let's say a little bit programming knowledge, whatever. And then it goes, for 11 weeks, you get into this immersive program where you're fully dedicated to this. And at the end of the 11 weeks, you're able to, you go from, I didn't know how to program very much, or almost nothing, to I've been able to build my own models myself. I can go into a company and extract all their data, build some models, and then predict or give some business value in this sense. So basically what the data science bootcamp is a very intense program in which we get professionals from different companies that are still working in data science daily. They come to class and they teach the students one-to-one within this short period how to be able to use data science in order to solve business problems.
In only 11 weeks.
In only 11 weeks. So the idea is you do 6 to 8 hours a day of class and then group work as well. In that amount of hours, basically, you're exposed to the professor one-to-one. One-to-one, well, they're groups of around 15 to 20 students, where all of them are able to talk one-to-one to the professor and then ask the corresponding questions. So you don't usually have in other programs or in setups, you don't have the chance to talk to a professor one-to-one and go like, oh, no, but how did you solve it that time? Right? So how would you do it? When I teach in the class, basically what I do is I literally give them a theoretical example they can understand, an easy example that everyone can just follow. Secondly, I give them a data set and I do it myself in front of them, so they see me struggle. And finally, I give them a new data set and it's you have to do it now.
Right, very useful. So, Elena, you are working in a big bank and you have many data. What kind of actions are really doing banks with data of our customers? Customer is very afraid about the bad use of this data, but there are many uses that could be good for our customer. No? What are you doing in this case?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for the invitation and thank you for being here this late. So you must be very much interested in the subject, so we'll try to, to cope with the expectations. So as you can imagine, a bank is a company that has always worked with data. So it's nothing new. The thing is that in the previous years, probably, I don't know, for the past 4 to 5 years, we have started to do new stuff with the new technologies, with the new capabilities, with machine learning, etc. But in the previous years, banks have always worked with a lot of data, especially in aspects like, for instance, risk analytics, risk scoring, fraud, and also customer profiling. No? The thing is that the way we worked with data before was quite, focused on very specific, selling products, scoring so we can avoid default, etc. So a few years ago, we started thinking of data from another perspective, finding new usages that could be helpful for customers. And today, I like to divide it into fields. One is what we do, what we call below the glass, so for operations, so everything that we do for efficiency, automation, internal decision-making, fraud, things like that happen inside the bank. And here, I think that machine learning has helped us to take a big step in performance and in efficiency. So below the glass efficiency, and then above the glass, when we are thinking of customer-facing applications, we are doing things that we hope it will improve a lot the experience that customers have with their banks. Because until now, even the digital experiences from banking were quite boring. Banking is boring, okay? We have to acknowledge that, but it was also very difficult to understand and to find it helpful for your day-to-day decisions or for important decisions. So we are trying to focus more on what we can do so people understand better their finances and also get rid of the boring stuff, what we call try to give them some peace of mind and doing some stuff or analyzing data so people don't have to start looking at the, credit card report every month to check if everything is okay, or check if your direct debits are in line with your normal consumption, etc. So we want to get rid of that and focus more on goals and the achievement of goals, not financial goals, but life goals. So for instance, it's not selling a mortgage, but helping people to find a house. So we are also trying to integrate, for instance, external data in product. We have a product here in Spain and also in a couple of countries in Latin America called Valora, BBVA Valora, that helps you, for instance, know the price of your own house without going to any valuation company, and also know the price of the house that you are interested in, and also the negotiation margin that you might have. For instance, that is one example of not being there just when the mortgage, but being there before, and eventually the mortgage will come or not, but we can help people in their goals. So there are many things that we are doing and many examples that I could give, but I don't want to take more time, so thank you.
Thank you very much. This is data science, using the data of our customers, and this is the year of GDPR. I am a marketing director of a company, of CEF and Udima, and I can also do one question, no? Customer is living better or worse than before GDPR day 25th of May? What do you think about? Is better for the customer? Is it better for the company? Is it win-win? What do you think?
I think it's good that there's been a regulation, so it had to be something, because otherwise the thing is it could be misused on purpose for someone else's benefit without you getting anything out of it. Now there's a trade between the company that's using that data and what you want them to do with it. I think it's good. As we've seen in many examples, so in IE we're continuously in contact with the companies and they ask us, could you prepare someone in this way or that way, right? So we can better improve the education. And one of the things that we're told a lot is how to include not only what's legal, what I can or cannot do, but also a little bit the ethics behind it, right? So should I be using certain data for certain decision making? No, the data is there so I can use it and the customer agreed. It's like, okay, yes, true. But you should add a layer of intelligence in front of it so that we can actually decide. I think that's one of the things that, as you said, I think it's an improvement. There's a long way to go yet. It has not been defined. Basically, what they've done is you should just ask for anything that you want to do with your data, which is fine. It's a first step. Now we're going to have to start moving. We can see, for example, in the US, there's certain things that are already been limited. For example, the use of facial recognition software is something that has a lot of potential, but as well, it's a lot of danger. Imagine you could not go out on the streets and be seen by cameras without being recorded on estimated, or if you're going to be able to get a mortgage or not, if you're going to be able to perform a crime or not, right? So all those kind of things. I think it's important there is a limit, and it's good that you know in advance, even though nobody reads the terms and conditions, but at least you would have the chance to decide to remove it. I think that's my part on it, and as well, what I'd say, it's not only about what's legal or not legal, it should also be incorporating this layer of ethics of what should be done with that data, even if you have it available.
And Elena, you have a lot of customers. The 25 5 months ago was one point in your history. You sent a lot of emails trying to get the confirmation of your customer to receive your communications. How do you live this day? No?
First of all, I think that thinking of why GDPR came, this is personal opinion, but I think that the purpose of GDPR is really good because it's trying to protect and to empower customers. My feeling is that the implementation has been made is not getting to any of these two goals because I don't think people really understood what they were trying to do, and I don't think that anybody is feeling any benefit today from GDPR. On the other hand, I think that everybody felt pretty, bored of having 2,000 emails in 1 week, telling you, okay, you have your data, and it was it was surprising to see how many companies had your data, which I think is good for awareness. And then, for me, and I am into this business, I answer maybe a couple of them and change stuff in a couple of them, but then I forgot about that. And just don't care. No, there was a tweet that I loved during that week. That was every time I receive a GDPR email, shot, no, chupito, which I thought it was really funny, no. So let's make fun of it, no. So that is my feeling. I think that the purpose is good, and maybe in the future, when we start having services from companies that can, benefit us by taking the data that we have in many sources, and integrate that in a single place and give us, I don't know, either insights or either usages of that data that we are not doing today. Because now we have the right to get our data from any platform or any service. But anybody, in my experience, nobody is pulling their data to do new usages with that because there are not many new services around, but I hope there will be in the future. So I don't think the customer is feeling any better. Answering to your question, and regarding our experience in BBVA, we knew that this was going to happen for a long time ago. We are a very regulated, in a very regulated sector, a very big company. So you can imagine we have had lawyers working on this for years, and on top of that, we have a PSD2 regulation in banking, which is also in some cases stronger because we have to put in place a way to open customers' data through APIs. So that is even beyond what GDPR asks today. So, we already had the data protection officer. We already had most of the emails or communications sent before May. So all the websites were ready for that. The concern is more on the small companies that don't have the resources. I was reading an article the other day saying that in all the European companies, only 20%, and that was a survey. So they said, only 20% said, I am ready to the last month for GDPR. So there were 50-something%, we are on our way. And 20-something% said, no, I've done nothing. I don't have resources for that. So implementation for me is so-so.
Thank you, Elena.
Personal opinion, not my company's.
Yes, of course.
But
everything we say.
As you just mentioned, it's really true that a startup, as you mentioned, I'm a CTO in a startup, and sometimes you have to prioritize, what do I do? Do I hire a developer or a lawyer? It's a complicated decision, yeah.
I want to know one real case, business case, because Ivan, you're CTO of a very new company, very new relationship between the customers and your products is influencers, is it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So how do you play in a privacy world with social media that is based on not privacy world?
Social media is a special world because it's a place where if you get the approval from the person, you can access the information of that person. Even though people publish, there's certain types of data which, even though they say them public, you can't use. Right? It doesn't matter that they're shouting it out the window. You cannot listen. So the things that we do in that case is we only use the data that can be taken out from social media, that it's completely public and as open APIs, right? So they publish it as open. You have to make sure that, of course, you go end-to-end reviewing every single piece of data you have. But then once you have that process done, what we do in Beamfluencer is basically we've been able to collect information from the most influential people in the world. We're collecting every single influencer down to, we try to cut it at around 5, it depends on the industry, but 5 to 10,000 followers. And then anyone above that, which is quite small in number of size and followers, we can find that person and we automate the process of contacting the person and seeing, okay, there's that company who wants to promote this product. It's your decision what you want to do. But then we've been able to automate it to the point in which we estimate companies that are going to that spend money in programmatic advertisement to be able to dedicate part of their resources to, I don't mind if it's published in some website somewhere and there's a banner. I prefer an influencer to publish something about it and give their opinion. So we've automated the whole process and we allow companies to hire, I want to hire 200 influencers for next week. I'm just like, okay, done. Now we automate the whole thing. So it has, of course, a lot of data science involved along the whole way. So everything you don't have, all the information you're missing, you have to predict it. We've created models to predict everything that we're missing. And then, of course, we add a lot of value to the agency because they get a full overview of what is it what are the reports, what are the results, did people like it or not, what is the impact per geography. So we've been able to process all of that and then give, of course, a return of investment figure to the person that decides to invest in influencers, which is something that wasn't common. Usually you had to trust the influencer, and we don't like trust, we like data. So what we've done is we've created a system that you can only do things that you can report on.
So you have to trust or you have to analyze. If you analyze the real data of the influencers before taking into account to a campaign or to an advertisement?
So we do a pre-analysis, which is only the most basic information. And then we ask the influencer, in order to accept the campaign or the progress, they would have to accept their social login. So then they're able to access, they accept the fact that I'm going to do this information in exchange of being able to access the information. So for them, they get paid by the campaign, by the company, and then we just manage a full report of everything that had happened in that campaign.
Okay. And Elena, I have a question. I have been a marketing director of a bank during 10 years. And I have one question for BBVA. Is a very good bank. Normally, data science is based on personal data of our customer, but our customer in relationship with us. So you can use, because many people say that the future is to take into account some data from the social media world or out of our database. Are you using or are you planning to use some databases with data not for customers, for potential customers out of your database?
Well, first of all, regarding the personal data usage of our customers, we use the data that has been, agreed with the customer that we can use when they become a customer, and for the purposes that the customer accepted. And this is not since GDPR; it was from before also. So we can do it for offering product, we can do it for pricing, for risk scoring, and that is within the scope of the services that we can offer as a bank to our customers. We have never used and we will never use external data sources from our customers without their consent, even though you could think that if the data is public, then you can just pull the data and use it. For instance, Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever, Facebook, if the data is open, that doesn't mean that you have the right to use it. And I think there has been a lot of confusion here Even us at the beginning, we said, okay, let's use Twitter data to make more attributes or to know better what our customers want or like. And then when I asked the lawyer about this, he told me, okay, I'm going to give you an example and you're going to understand. So if you find a car, because I said, because the data is there, it's open, I can access it. And he said, okay, if there is a car outside open with the keys in, does that mean that you can just get the car and make it yours? No, this is a robbery. Same as if you open the car using the force. So we have not and we will never use customers' data, even if it's in the open internet. When we talk about open market, we of course use all the tools that you will know much better than me on how to target audiences through the different media channels. And here, the effort that we are making now, because we, as many other companies, we are doing a lot in having the right places in Facebook, in Google, etc. So we have the audiences dependent on the product, given the attributes that you can select in these tools. But the important thing that we are trying to do is to merge that data that happens outside with data that we might have inside. Okay, to see, for instance, if there are behaviors that you find, you can make the whole link of the data inside and outside, and you can find similar behaviors that you can extrapolate and then go to new audiences through that. I don't know if I'm making myself very clear, but and then when we have, it's very important for us to know, for instance, for attribution models, how we should spend a digital marketing budget. And sometimes we make decisions based on the cost per click or cost per lead, and we are trying to move to the cost per conversion. So we really buy media depending on how much that converts, and for that you need to make the full data journey, external data and internal data, which is not that simple. We are working on that.
Thank you very much, Elena. And we're going to talk about future, and I want to talk with Elena also about the future of data science in banking. Do you think is mainly about cross-selling or about taking more customers? What do you think about the efforts?
I think it's about giving a better service and giving a more meaningful service than we are doing right now.
Our customers.
Yeah, as banks. So really helping people in their lives and not just when they are spending money or when they want a product. And by doing that, especially in digital channels, of course, and being close to people when they make decisions, etc., I think we will retain our customers and also get new ones. But we think that if we don't do that, somebody else will come and do it. So it's kind of a defensive, offensive idea.
Okay, thank you very much. And about the future, Ivan, what about influencers? There will be a job?
There would be a job, you said?
Yes.
Yep. So, well, influencers is something that influence has always been there. It's not something that, I mean, now social media has digitalized the way we communicate that, but there has always been influence by your neighbor. You trust more your neighbor than the one 3 streets away. But now the way it's being built now is that we're able to measure how much influence there is there. And one of the things, actually, in my classes in IE, one of the things I do is I put my students at here's the data of the influencers that I have from my own company. Here you go. You can try with this. Try to predict how many people will, for example, go to the final step of a whole funnel in the marketing process, and then try to predict which one would work better for you. So it is a job. It is a full-time job for loads of them. It is, but I try to imagine. I always try to explain. When you say influencers, people imagine typical handbags, partying, alcohol. Yeah, fine. I try to call them key opinion leaders, so that it's not just influence and pictures and all that. It's actually, I have an opinion. This is my opinion. I'm trying to communicate it, and then you can. Your audience should trust you. It's not just because, I don't know, Nike paid me that I'm going to say that their shoes are better. It's because I've tried them and I agree with them. Because if I don't, if I get paid and I just do it, I pay, I just do it, I pay, I just do it. At the end, nobody will trust my influence, right? So there's no point. It is a job. It's a full-time job for most of them. For the ones that, of course, make a living out of it. And, of course, more and more, there's people around the world who dedicate their time to absorbing information so that they can feed their audience. So, and it is a job. It's the same thing as a publisher. A publisher has to learn from politics, has to learn from the industries or whatever, and then create a content so that people read it in the newspaper. In this case, it's just a different channel, and it's been automated to the point that it's easy enough for anyone to dedicate. I don't know. I want to be an influencer in children toys, and I can do that from a very young age. And I just have to try the toys and convince my audience that that's something. Why do I like them, or give them my opinion? I'd say that a really important thing here is you have to keep in mind that there is the paid influencers part, but there is those divided into two: the ones that accept anything because they're trying to improve, and the ones that actually have a proper influence, which you're going to be able to measure afterwards. And they of course have a trust with their audience, right? So they have to make sure that they can communicate with that.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Thank you very much, Elena. Thank you very much for all support, and goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.